obviously, when I'm turning, I have to be cool.
You stupid.
And I try to drift with my bike.
You stupid.
And I tried to drift, and the chain of that bike I drifted so hard it went to my knee. So I kind of fell.
You stupid.
Hi, this is Mac.
This is Mac, it's a random dude!
Am I on TV?
Yeah! Yes.
What are you on? Are we on TV?
You're here, you're on TV, man, you're famous!
Oh my god!
He's famous, man!
He said at a
That's crazy.
at a talk show, I don't remember exactly with who, but there's this like audio going around of him like agreeing with a grown man saying that like, oh, your daughter's like a hot piece of ass. Like that is not Christian. Like that.
Hello, this is YEET Talks, the second episode of YEET Talks, and I am here with...
Olivia. I'm Olivia.
Yeah, yes, this is Olivia, and she is our great, amazing guest for episode 2 of YEET Talks. How are you doing today, Olivia?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
It's cold outside, but I'm doing good.
It is freezing. It is freezingly cold. It's... I think I did better at setting up compared to last time. But
you did the cameras and everything.
I did the cameras, unlike me absolutely doing nothing last time. But yes, this is episode 2. It's gonna be very fire. Let's see. How was your day today? You want to start with that? Let's start with that.
Yeah,
How's your day today?
Honestly, I woke up. I gave myself an extra 30 minutes of sleep.
That's nice.
Because I went to bed late because I was reading a book.
That's chill.
And then I woke up and now I'm here. Yeah, I have to be here for 12, and this is my only day a week that I'm on campus. So this is the day that I have to actually wake up early.
I'm glad I caught you at this time.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. Well, I of course got these wonderful topic questions. I guess first one is what are you studying and why, and what are you planning to do after you graduate?
Yeah. So I'm a psych major. I'm in third year now, and Lord knows when I will even graduate. I don't know if I'm going to graduate next year or if I'm going to do a 5th year.
Sure.
But the goal is to do a master's after, and then be a registered psychologist and work with people with like people who are neurodivergent, so like people with autism, ADHD.
Sure.
Yeah. So like. That's kind of like in my wheelhouse. That's what I like volunteer for stuff, and that's what like I work under. So that's what I plan to do is probably like open up my own clinic and help kids and families.
That's nice, and you're comfortable, and like you feel comfortable with doing that. Have you always felt comfortable with doing that, or that just came eventually?
I mean, so I grew up with an aunt who's neurodivergent. So she was 9 months old, and she ended up getting meningitis. And the old Italians, they thought that if you had a fever, you had to cover up because you were cold. But you're actually not supposed to cover up. And she ended up messing up her brain.
Oh.
And so from a very young age, she just like couldn't mentally like develop properly. And so I've been surrounded around that. Like I have cousins with autism as well. I was always comfortable around it. I always felt like I wanted to help offer support. I didn't get used to it recently. I've just always been used to it, right? I've always been surrounded by that. So, yeah. That's
cool. And you say you open up your health clinic. Do you have any, obviously it probably might be really too early now, but do you have any kind of plan specific? Like, will you have a name for the clinic? Probably not, but like something like that.
So actually, something that I discussed with a friend of mine, she does CYC, so Child and Youth Care. She wanted to open up her own clinic too, and I thought it'd be really cool if we like kind of merged. My boyfriend's also in the same thing. He's also in psychology, also kind of wants to do the same thing as me. So we're thinking like we could have like this big clinic, but again, we're 20 and like we're not even done our undergrad. But yeah, I don't know like the name. I don't know where. I currently volunteer at a clinic that does exactly what I said I wanted to do. So
nice.
I kind of, not like know the ropes because I just started, but definitely want to like foster that environment, the same thing, where it's like a safe environment and you use like neuroaffirming care and nothing's wrong with you. It's more of a difference rather than like a disorder and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's chill. That's good. So you guys are going to merge. 3 of you are going to merge into like this big kind of what, psychiatry empire or something.
Possibly. I mean, we have a lot of like dreams, my friends and I. Like we have, a dream of moving out. Like,
No way. That's a big dream here.
Yeah. It's something that we want to do. Is it gonna happen? Lord knows.
One day.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, if inflation isn't.
That is an amazing thing, inflation.
Yeah, and cost of living,
cost of living
either stays stagnant or goes down.
Yeah. One day, brother. One day.
Yeah,
one day.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah. Nice. Great. Are you loving New York?
Yeah,
You've been here for how long, right? Was it 4?
Say that again?
How long will you be here for? 4 years? You've been?
4 years, maybe 5
Maybe
if I
5.
do things strategically.
Yeah.
Because there's classes that I have to take next year, and because of my exchange, I think I'm behind like a course. So if I do like summer school, maybe it'll be easier. We'll see. But 4 years, 5 years, whenever, I just plan on doing my master's after. So yeah.
That's true. And you're going to obviously master in the same. Is it called the same program?
So depending on the school you go to, it's different. So if I were to go to York for what I want to do, it'd be called like clinical developmental. But if I went to a school called like Adler Graduate Professional School, it's called like a completely different program. But it's the same thing, except one of them you need to do a thesis. The other one's just like more practical with a master's project or a thesis. It really just depends on where you go, but you can all land in the same place. Like if you're, there's something called the School of Psychologists, or like the College of Psychologists is basically like if you graduate with an accredited master's degree, you can apply to be in the School of Psychologists or the College of Psychologists, and then you can work as a psychologist under supervision. So like it doesn't matter where you go, it's pretty much all the same thing.
As long as it's like linked to that school.
Yeah, either that or it's just like if let's say you don't like research all that much, but you want to do more practicum, you go to another school. It all just depends on like what you want to do specifically, right? But a lot of them you need like research to go into. Some of them are more focused on like your honors thesis you do, rather than like research. It's very school specific.
School specific, yeah, okay. And you're clearly doing very well. Are you perhaps, obviously you don't have to say who, but do you also maybe apply this craft in like, I was about to say for school, but like anybody else in York as well? Or is it just for the people that you kind of work at the clinic you're at?
Like, do you mean what I learned in school, do I apply it elsewhere?
Elsewhere, not just at work. Like maybe there's other people, like students at York. Have you ever done it with them, or is it just at work or just at school?
Well, psychology is what they call a universal degree in the sense of like you can do just about anything with psychology, but if you want to work in the psychological field and like, do practice in psychology, like therapy or psychotherapy or whatever, then you need like further education. But if it's just psychology, like that, it's just how the mind works, how people think. Like it's pretty much like, me trying to think of like what you're thinking of as psychology, I don't need to have a degree for that, right? Or like me understanding your facial expressions and what they may mean, that is not like, I don't need a higher education for that. That's like social cues, but that's also psychology, right? So like there's things that I've learned, like especially, coping mechanisms or like communication styles or attachment styles that I don't need a higher education for. I can learn that on my own, but I've learned that through my degree that I apply with friends or, with family, just understanding people better.
But you're able to like improve, I guess, those skills through like the program.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, I've always been into psychology, like I've always looked into like certain things. And even when you're on the internet, like there's attachment styles like everywhere, like, oh, are you anxious attachment? Are you like anxious avoidant? Like there's all those different like hints of psychology out there that you don't even like need to study. But yeah, like it's everywhere and you can apply it everywhere. And just like with relationships too, or I feel like a big part of psychology is also just like empathy. And what sucks, empathy can't be taught. But yeah, it like tells you more about just other people and like the mind and all that stuff. So
okay. Cool. Psychology. That's great.
Yeah.
The mind, it's like can be very mysterious, not very mysterious, but also can become sometimes very obvious, as what you said.
Yeah, I mean, like, I always say, like, mental health is, like, the biggest thing. Like, if your mind isn't feeling good, your body's not going to feel good, right? People can say that's, like, cliche, but, like, if you're, some people can think of it as, like, oh, if you're, not feeling, like, well mentally, or you're undergoing a lot of stress, your body tends to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Stress is a killer, you know, like that cortisol, not good. But that comes from like how you view stress. And the funny thing is, little fun fact,
Yeah.
if
Yes,
if you have like stress in your life, but you view it as stress, you get higher blood pressure because like your blood vessels, they like constrict, which creates the pressure in your blood vessels. But if you view stress in like I can overcome this, or this is like a challenge that I can overcome, like in a positive light,
like a motivator.
yeah, your blood vessels actually like dilate, like they go bigger, so they let like that cortisol go through, and like it doesn't affect your body as much. Like that's why people's like the adrenal glands sit right on top of your kidneys and your back. That's why a lot of people's back hurts when they're stressed.
That's from back pain, I guess. Back pain.
Well, like you can have back pain from like
other things. Yeah.
Other things.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the time, if someone's stressed, it just comes from like those glands that you know release cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and that's why people are like, oh, my back, like it hurts. Could be like fucked up your back, but it can also be like, you know, you're undergoing a lot of stress, right? When people say like, oh, that weight's off my shoulder, like that's like your body, like when your mind is like, okay, the stress is gone, your body's like physically relieved, right? So stress is a crazy thing.
So it can be a demotivator, but a motivator either way.
Yeah, stress is just one of those things that like you need to view it in such a way that it makes you better. And if it doesn't make you better, get rid of it.
Yeah. Yes. Oh.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, this is Mac.
This is Mac. It's a random dude.
Am I on TV?
Yeah. Yes.
Olivia, are we on TV?
Wait,
You're here. You're on TV, man. You're famous.
Oh my god.
He's famous, man. Okay.
Are we still on TV?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm leaving now.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mackie. Stay yeeted.
Okay, so let's restart.
Okay, we're back. We just saw the big boy Mac, and we're gonna be continuing with Olivia. Yeah. Okay, that's what this is. Yeet. Okay, and we're gonna. What's my next thingy? The next thingy is any funny any stories you wanna maybe say like off the top of your head?
Funny stories?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
You can be very heated if you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
It's okay. I don't force her to do anything, guys. Don't worry.
I'm not forced. Okay, funny thing that happened to me. So when I was in 5th grade, so 2015, I broke my wrist in February, falling off of a garbage can because I was reaching for a toboggan. So we were supposed to go tobogganing, and I was impatient, as an 11-year-old is, and I ended up getting onto a hollow recycling bin.
Okay.
Or the food waste, like the green bin.
Right.
It was hollow, and I jumped on top of that, and then I went to reach the top shelf of my garage to grab a toboggan off of it, and it ended up falling under my feet, and I fell flat on my wrist.
Oh.
The funny part is not that I fell off, is that I broke it again 3 months later because my cousin shot a soccer ball at my wrist, and I broke it, and then it broke completely, and so I had to go to school twice. One with a half cast on my arm, and then 3 months later in June, a full arm cast. And my teacher and all my classmates were like, "How in the fuck did you do that twice?" And I was like, "It just happened."
Just a bunch of hows. Those were the reactions.
Yeah, we're just like, "How did you do it again? How?" And every time I tell someone now, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I broke my wrist twice," they're just like, "How do you break it falling off of a garbage can?" It was hollow, and I even had cushion. I was in my gloves. I had my winter jacket.
Yeah.
Nope, still broke.
She ain't built that way, guys.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
she can't withstand the crack of that wrist.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, but yeah, I had to stop playing soccer too.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was so sad.
Well, what? Just were you the goalie? Is that why you had to not play soccer?
Well, no, it's just so it didn't matter what position I played. It was the fact that if I got hit by a ball in my wrist, I couldn't play, right?
Right.
And then I broke it from a soccer ball after my wrist had healed. Because fun fact, if you fracture your wrist, not a clean break, it's actually worse than if you clean break it and the bone heals properly.
Oh, well, nice.
So when I had fractured it the first time and then I got hit with a soccer ball the second time, it was a clean break. And so it was able to heal better. But because my arm was in a 90-degree cast for 2 months, I couldn't play soccer.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So, that's my semi-funny story.
Yeah. Ha. That was very fun. Okay.
Yeah, now my left wrist is no muscle mass.
No muscle mass?
Yeah, like even when I started going to the gym, I was also going to a chiropractor, and he was like, yeah, like your left wrist is like dead.
Is dead? Is there anything else you couldn't do with those wrists at that time? Or is it
Like,
just soccer and gym?
no, because I went to the gym like recently,
Oh,
and they
recently,
were like,
alright.
because of that, it was like I couldn't do anything.
You couldn't do
like
anything.
my left arm and my left wrist and like everything was just messed up because I broke my wrist. So I was
No.
like, okay, cool, great.
Well, sucks.
Yeah.
Pain.
Yeah.
Pain can be motivating, kind of.
You'd have to work 10 times harder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and I also have a really bad knee, so I was like, just.
It's technically motivation.
Yeah.
Technically motivation. It's fun, painful. Stuff. I broke my arm when I was younger too. I was on a bike, and I was with my boys, and we were like riding our bikes. We were just in a line, and I was in the back, so nobody noticed. But I fell. No, sorry, not my arm. When I say my arm, I hurt my knee. So I fell, and obviously when I'm turning, I have to be cool.
You stupid.
And I tried to drift with my bike.
You stupid.
And I tried to drift, and the chain of that bike I drifted so hard it went to my knee. So I kind of fell.
You stupid.
Not only did the chain kind of hit my knee, I have a bunch of holes in my knee. The chain also broke off.
You stupid.
And it's and this is on an island. So this is hills all over the place. So I'm thinking, okay, well my knee is this hurts. What am I going to do first? Am I going to go home, or am I going to try to fix this chain? Well, the chain is kind of close. I might as well try to fix the chain.
Yeah.
So I push my bike all the way up with my dead knee. When I arrived to the bike shop, I arrived like, oh no, they're closed.
You
So
stupid.
This was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, might as well go home. And I have to go down the hill with all these, called them pythons at the time, like horse carriages.
You said you were on an island?
This is an island, yeah. This is in Turkey, Büyükada.
Oh, okay.
That's good context, yeah. And go down the hill, have to go up the hill a little bit. Eventually I finally got home, but yeah, I had like, how many holes? Probably like 8 holes because of that chain that got in my knee.
Like you didn't need like surgery or anything? It's just
Luckily it didn't go that deep, but there was like probably like 5 bandages all over my knee.
Bravo, you f***ing idiot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what happened to my knee. Probably 10 years ago. Anyway, yeah, what other funny story do you have?
Yeah, well, when I was like maybe 8 years old, I was on this treadmill in my cousin's like home gym.
Home gym, yeah.
And my cousin thought it'd be a funny idea to like turn up the treadmill to 10, and mind you, I'm like 8, so I have like legs of
Boy.
yeah, like so small,
Yeah.
4, 6, and I like hit the back wall because I like went so fast and I fell, and
You flew.
I flew against the wall, but then I landed on my side with the treadmill like running on my arm.
Oh.
And so I had like a burn on my arm.
Oh.
So they had to like steroid cream. It was so, I laugh at it now, but it was really dramatic.
Yo, that's.
but yeah.
I'm trying to imagine that. Just fly, boom.
Yeah, it was what I like. But yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These are moments we will not forget.
Yeah.
Especially painfully.
Yeah.
Painful things.
Yeah.
Crying moments. Anyways. Well. Happy New Year.
Happy New
It
Year.
is 2025.
Yes, it is.
What do you think will happen in 2025? Anything like political stuff, history stuff, personal stuff?
Personal
anything,
stuff?
anything. Can be anything. Political stuff, general stuff.
Personal
anything.
stuff. I'm going abroad. That's like the biggest thing of the year.
Yay! Where are you going?
I'm going to Korea. So,
Wow.
Yeah, 4 months. That's like the biggest personal thing that's going on. I'm leaving in less than a month.
That's not enough. School.
Politically, I don't know. To be honest, we're kind of
I mean, Trudeau just dropped himself.
You know, how do I even say it? To be honest, I feel like right now I'm not even focused on Canadian politics because I feel like regardless of where we go, it's going to be f***ed up unless everyone. I mean, this is my political view. Unless like everyone like votes NDP, unless like everyone like gets fucking both liberal and conservatives out.
Yeah.
But like that's just like not the way that it's probably gonna work. If you just, see that Canada's not a two-party system, but like we act like a two-party system.
Yes.
It's usually liberal conservative, but
Yeah.
I feel like we need to like let them fuck off and whatever.
Yes.
But again, it's not even like Canadian politics at this point. It's just like American politics that is so up. Yeah, I have my words about it. I mean, I know a lot of people who, disagree with me, and I know a lot of people who agree with me.
Yeah.
You can ask any questions and I'm gonna go.
Any questions? Fair
Any
enough.
questions?
Okay, well,
What'd you say?
Good job.
good job. Yes. Okay. Then I'll ask. Trying to think of a question that's not him or him. No, I don't want to ask that kind of question.
Ask anything. I'm solid in my beliefs. So,
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
If you had to choose, well, obviously, probably eventually, but if you had to choose, Pierre or Trudeau?
Oh, we're talking about Canadian politics?
First.
Okay. Well, I don't like that Pierre was endorsed by, who was it, like Elon Musk or like Trump? I
think it was Elon Musk, yeah.
I don't
That's
I
fine.
don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm also just like, I don't align with like a lot of conservative beliefs. If I had to choose between liberal or conservative, it would be liberal, but I would probably choose like NDP over anything.
Yeah.
But again, if I had to choose between the two, it would
At
be
least these two
liberal.
people.
It would be liberal.
Yeah.
I don't think Pierre trying to follow in Donald Trump's footsteps.
I mean, Pierre took shots at Trump once sometimes, no?
You know what? I think he might, do that, but then he's like, oh, I think we should also ban TikTok. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
They indirectly agree with a lot of things, but they also take shots at each other at the same time.
It's like, I don't know, just men in power, bro. Men in power. Like, so stupid.
Okay, then I'll flip it to another politics. Trump or Harris?
Harris, 100%.
Harris?
There's no doubt about it. Like, even, like, not, people would be like, oh, you would have voted for her just because she's a woman. No.
Yes.
No. If I was American, I would always, if the policies aligned with my moral and ethical code, I would vote based on that, like, which would be Democrat because I'm more progressive.
Yeah.
Right? But no, I would never vote serial rapist as president.
As a president, yeah. You might be the first Harris person that I've spoken to that's not like, I only vote for Harris because she's a woman. You actually have like a proper reason. I like that.
You look at her policies and it's like, okay, that makes sense, right? Like she wanted to give families like a $6,000, they want to give them $6,000 to help them like raise their family. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, yeah, sure, people might have the basis of, oh, should we want like the first female president? But I think the female president and
it's just a bonus. It shouldn't be like a driving thing.
Like, oh, she's the first, like African. I don't even know if it's African American. She's the first like black female president. Like not even just female, black female.
Black female, yes.
Or like she's she's a minority. Not even just because she's a female. It's because she's a person of color. But I also think that's when you just like, you can tell that someone's like not intelligent when they're like, oh, I would just vote for her because she's a woman. It's like, no, because like, no, you just don't do that. Like Hillary Clinton, to be honest, she's fucked up.
Yeah.
She's fucked up. She's a woman, she's fucked up. Thank God, like I didn't have a brain cell when it was that election, 2016 election, because I wouldn't know who the fuck I would choose if I was American, right? Ooh,
okay, good big pause right there. Just give him a good pause. What was the Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, no, I was just saying I didn't have a brain cell in 2016. I wouldn't know who to vote, and I also think like Hillary Clinton, she's like also fucked up.
Yes.
Movie. But yeah, like I don't know. Politics is just like one of those things where it's like, you either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you think you may be educated and then you're just like you're just voting because of family members. Right? For that person.
But here's a kind of side question to that. Do you I'll use it this way. Do you end friendships or in any sort of way in that capacity because someone, say, for example, I choose Trump because I like those kinds of people, and you choose Harris because you don't like those kind of people. So do you end a friendship or any sort of way like that, cut people off like that because you don't see the same way? Because I've seen a lot of people do that, and my friends also said the same thing. There was a lot of people to that.
I mean, luckily, I'm surrounded by a lot of people who have the same beliefs as me. So never had to really cut off people. You know what I mean? My only issue is that so how do I explain this? Trump is very much cisgender, anti-LGBT, like very much white people. I'm a bisexual woman. If you use Trump as a way to be like, I don't like you because you're bisexual. Like if you use Trump, or like, you know what I mean? Or like just some of his policies or whatever to like on my existence, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think, I feel like if some people because at the end of the day, what I like to say is that your political stance could almost be a personality type. Like at the end of the day, it could, because a lot of the people who support Trump are this way, and a lot of people who are, Democratic are this way, and I just don't align with a lot of people who may be more on the conservative side.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I hate them.
Yeah.
That just means like we just don't align.
Yeah,
And
that's
I've never had to personally like cut people off because of that. Like there's people in my family who are more conservative. There's people in my family who are,
yes, so what, they don't connect.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, so I wouldn't like cut people off, I don't think, unless it was like you kind of like hate my existence. But also, I think it's important to have conversations with people who are like just have opposing beliefs, because it's good to like challenge what you believe and see like if you actually know what you're talking about through that. Because there's been many times where I've talked to people with like opposing beliefs, and like I wasn't like so solidified with what I was believing that I kind of like got lost.
Yeah.
But like, no, yeah, I think I've had conversations with a bunch of people who just have differing opinions, and it's not like I don't like you, unless you're like just actually a shit person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd cut someone off unless you were like attacking me or like harming me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's pretty much.
I was more, if I may, I was more like for a bit. No, let's get this very clear. I made it very clear last time. I made it very clear now. I am not homophobic. I am not sexist. I'm not racist. I'm not any of those things.
Yeah.
Let's get that very clear. You're bi, that's cool with me.
Mm.
But I will be honest. For a bit, not anymore. I was chill with Trump. I prefer Trump over Harris. And the only reason I even I care about that at all, to me it's American politics. I'm not in America.
To be honest, it's just funny.
It's funny. That's what it is exactly. It's the only reason I pay attention is that it's funny, and the only other reason I care about it is that whoever gets elected kind of does pay tribute to what happens with World War III. Kind of. Because
yeah, but even in that regard, Trump would still be worse.
Worse or better?
Worse. Like he would be the one to like jumpstart Trump, World War III with the tariffs impeding.
Tariffs, yeah. That tariffs is why I started to hate Trump.
Panama Canal, Greenland.
He had good He had, or I don't know if still does now, but had good connections with a bunch of the countries to like maybe potentially even stop the Ukraine war.
But so that's the thing, right?
Mm.
Like if that's your point of view, and like if your point of view is to stop World War III, like stop something that hasn't even started, right? Or like stop what's going on in Ukraine.
Well, that is one of the things because that is the one thing of that American politics that has to do with Canada. It's not like I can't, right aside from obviously tariffs and stuff, but any generic politics that American politics is pushing into, that involves Canada. That's what I kind of pay attention to.
It was like.
Say
war going on.
Say World War II, yeah, World War Ukraine, because that can potentially start World War III. That stuff. But if it's just a presidency, it has nothing to do with Canada. It doesn't apply to me, so that's why I don't care.
Regardless of like who's in power, Canada is going to be affected, right?
Yeah.
Like because like even with like let's say there were no tariffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the endorsement with like Pierre Polyev, like all that stuff. Like they're still like a huge powerhouse. But if like let's say one of the things that you were worried about was necessarily like Canada or like stopping wars, Trump is still like the worst person for that because he's
not the best, yes.
He's just not a good person. Like we have to think about it this way, right? Like his first day in, he resigned. Like America's no longer the World Health Organization. How does that help in World War III?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
right. Like that is. I think he also did that before.
He did something with health also in this first round.
I think he also did it before, and then when Biden got into office, he like
Biden shut that down.
Yeah. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but like
Probably.
how would that have helped World War III? You know what I mean?
I saw it as negotiation because like these two countries in the Europe and Middle East, they're fighting, and Trump, I've noticed he has a way with words and trying to get them to like him, so maybe he can find a way to make them calm down. That's how I kind of saw it back then. It was like a year or so ago.
Okay.
Though, and
so now what do you believe?
I don't like either of them. It's like I like Trump for a bit, but then he did this tariffs thing. So I don't like either of them. I don't like American politics at all. The only thing I liked before was Trump because of all that, but then he did this stuff to Canada, so I don't like him at all either.
So like, I agree that like both of them are like shit people. Like Kamala Harris is not like a good person.
Yeah.
Like, but when you look at like the policies or like what they may stand for or what they may do with like their promises, that's why I was like, hey, Kamala. Right?
Yeah.
But the thing is with Trump is that he's so like people like to say, oh, he's just a way with words, like he's just so blunt, like he can, like what you said, right?
Yeah.
At some point, it's just ignorant, and like I feel like the people who follow, like there's some people who follow him like die hard.
Yeah, no, be sure that's not me.
No, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, there's just some people that are like die hard for him that I'm like, do you not like have a brain cell?
Yeah.
Can you not like figure out that maybe this is wrong? Like for example,
like after he lost in 2020, all that big riot thing, no, that he kind of allegedly led.
Yeah.
No, I mean
just like
those people are like, why he lost? It's just politics.
There's so many because the thing is politics like really affects everything.
Yeah.
Right, like your day-to-day life politics will affect that, like groceries, right? Which Donald Trump said he would make it less expensive, like less.
Yes.
He indeed did not do that. Instead, he gave tax breaks to people who make over $360,000.
Yes. Yeah.
So some people may think like, oh, Trump's good for like some reason or whatever. But if you look at it like in general, he's just like overall bad unless you make a certain amount of money every year.
Yeah.
But he's also just like he's a felon. Like
he's a felon, but excuse me. If you do shitty things, but that shitty thing doesn't affect the politics, like your job, which in a lot of cases it can, like the Trump thing, that pretty much can. But if it doesn't, it's not like he's going to be crap at his job. If he does good at his job, that's a whole different story. I'm not saying Trump is great at his job, but if he was good at his job, I'm not going to like the guy, but at least he does good at his job. That's what I kind of saw it as.
Like, you know how there's so many felons who get out of prison? They have one felony. He has like, what, 34, 36, something like
36, I think.
Yeah. One felon who gets out of jail can't find a job at like McDonald's.
Yes.
Why does he have 36 and is allowed to be in the White House, in the Oval Office? Why? What makes him, just because he has like, oh, but he can run the country like a business. No, he cannot. That's why taxes are so high for people in the middle class. He believes in a trickle-down theory, which has been proven wrong by many economists. Like,
yes, yeah.
How can a man whose businesses have only ever gone bankrupt run a country like a business?
Do they all really get bankrupt?
Pretty much all of them have. Like,
holy crap.
There's no. At the end of the day, I feel like a lot of it just boils down to like misogyny. Like a lot of people just believe that because there was no like female president, that there should never be one, and that it is solely a man's job.
Yeah, that's not right. No,
it's not right, and I think also like Donald Trump people are like, oh, he's blunt, like he tells you how it is, like he's just whatever. But like if you really listen to what he's saying, he does not know a thing. Like he really has no clue. He's like, oh, America will recognize two genders, male and female. And I've been saying this the past couple of days, right? When was his inauguration? Yesterday? 2 days ago?
Monday. Two days ago. As of today, it is just saying, I did this last time, I'm sorry. It is January 22nd, Wednesday, 2025. His inauguration was 2 days ago. So that's when we're shooting this thing. Sorry, yes, continue.
Yeah. He said like there's only two genders. And I was thinking to myself, that's why like he just does not know what he's talking about, because female and male are sexes. We say like boy, girl, people who are non-binary, people who are gender fluid, people who are like that is like gender. That's how you specifically identify. Male and female is more so biological. The social constructs come with gender. How you dress, how you choose to identify socially. Like boys like blue, girls like pink. Boys play with cars, girls play with dolls. Like that is the gender constructs surrounding your like gender. So for him, and like when you like sign an application or you're like looking at whatever, they don't say like gender, male, female. It says sex.
Yes.
Male, female, non-specific, or like whatever options.
Yeah.
So for him to literally say like, oh, there's only two genders, I'm like, you're literally a moron. Like he's straight up a moron. He's asking, like, he was, I think, the first president, and again, anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, he was, like, the first president to get sworn in and not have his hand on the Bible.
Yes, I saw that yesterday. That was crazy.
So how are all these Christians, like believing in him and what he says. It says like, oh, he's so Christian, like he follows, God, and then like him not even do.
Yeah, as an Orthodox, that was sus, Trump. That was sus. Like, I'm Armenian Orthodox. We accepted Christianity as the thing. And that was the first time I've seen Trump do something so, like, non-Christian. He forgets to put it on the Bible, but then he's, like, says all these other things about Christianity.
It's funny that you say that. That's, like, the first thing that he hasn't done that's, like...
That I've seen.
He's a felon.
Yeah, he's a felon.
He rapes women.
Yes.
He said that he would date his daughter if she wasn't his daughter.
I did not hear that.
He said at a...
That's crazy.
At a talk show, I don't remember exactly with who, but there's this, like, audio going around of him, like, agreeing with a grown man, saying that, like, oh, your daughter's, like, a hot piece of ass. Like, that is not Christian. Like, that's not...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, he's just a weird guy. He's just a weird guy. I'm not saying that, like, Kamala has done, like, fucked up shit. I feel like in order for you to run for, like, president or be, like, a candidate, you've got to do some fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Like,
a lot of them have.
That's just how it is. That's politics. But, like, if we're comparing, like, Kamala Harris, who has experience in, like, politics, because she was a prosecutor,
yes, versus
just a man who just so happens to have, millions of dollars, like, you have to look at it, you know what I mean? Okay, then I'll just... I know Charlie Kirk would definitely ask you this. What is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment then? I think... Can you name me any accomplishment? That she put away a certain amount of, like, rapists and stuff. To be honest, I don't know what her greatest accomplishment is. I don't know what Trump's greatest accomplishment is. All I know is that I look at, like, the policies and I see, okay, this makes sense. It's aligned with my moral code. Fair enough. She wanted to give I think it was, like, the $25,000, like, down payment to some people. Or she wanted to do, like, she wanted to uplift, like, Black-owned businesses and like that. That's good. Sure. You know what I mean? I'm not, like, the most educated person. Yeah. But I know under the Biden administration, they did a lot for, I think they also just did a lot for Black-owned businesses, but they also, I think, created like 16 million jobs or something like that. Again, someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm open to criticism. But, well, apparently Trump did open more jobs. Yeah, but he fucked up taxes, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He fucked up taxes and yeah. And people who say that, like, Biden's the one that fucked up taxes are so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Charlie Kirk is raging on his seat right now. Charlie Kirk, he's scary, he's ugly, and yeah. I mean, not that has anything to do with his political stance, but I feel like he's just, I don't know, he's just, like, he sucks Trump's dick, bro. Like, he's on that shit. Like, But he said something against Trump once. What did he say? From what I don't know if it's against, but he was just, I remember when because obviously he did his great college campus tours, and I think a student I kind of think asked him, like, why do you support Trump so much or something like that? And he was like, well, there's a lot of things me and Trump don't see eye to eye with. I was surprised he said that. Yeah. And based on my knowledge, he said something about a lot of Christian beliefs he has or views that he doesn't share. Yeah, my mind goes blank for the rest of the stuff he said, but mainly stuff about Christian stuff. Apparently, they don't align, but a lot of the political views mainly, because political views mainly, he would support Trump for. But it's funny because a lot of people who like Trump are based off of their religious beliefs. Like a lot of the times when they look at Trump's policies, they're like, oh, okay, well that aligns with like in 1 Timothy 1 or whatever. Yeah. Like, they're like, okay, that's why I like Trump. Whereas they're like, oh, these libtards, oh, this. And I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I said it in another podcast. I was just like, I don't think you need religion to be a good person. Yeah. I think you can have morals and like an ethical code without needing the basis of religion, although religion is good. And it could be, rooted in greatness in the sense of like love thy neighbor regardless of sex, gender orientation, regardless of, sexual, or like race, stuff like that, right? That's the Christianity that should like be talked about, right? But a lot of people like misinterpret that, and they're so like, oh, we love the tradition of it, like we love white people and we love the way that it was before, and it's like you're never gonna get that. And the fact that you're enabled, like you just can't adapt, not only shows that you're like just not intelligent, you're just blatantly on purpose being ignorant, right? So it's like I get that a lot of people have their beliefs, like, I don't know how political you want to get, but there's like abortions, right? Yes. A lot of people have their beliefs on abortion. Okay, great. But at the end of the day, it's like, again, do you want a felon or do you want...
It's more, it's very, if we want to go to that, it's like, it's kind of, I find it very moralic. I'm not saying if you like abortion, you should be executed. No, I just don't like seeing kids die. Just so.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I have my stance on it as a woman.
Yes,
who
yeah, yeah.
Can,
yes,
you know,
yes,
and,
yes.
You know, would if you know, God forbid, needed an abortion. Like,
Yeah.
We would obviously have different perspectives.
Obviously, yes,
right?
yes. Mine's obviously from an outside, not an inside perspective.
Right. But then again, if it ever came down to it, like, this is like, if you, like, think about it this way. You just so happen to, you know, girlfriend needs an abortion because that baby will hurt her. At the end of the day, it comes down to, do you want the baby? Do you want the woman? It's a difficult thing, you know what I mean? But again, then at that point, like, you can have a conversation with your partner, but like, it's not your choice. Yeah. You can have like your thoughts on it, sure, but like, I don't agree with like the government like telling you what you can do.
No, they don't need to. They don't need to do that.
The easiest way to compromise, right? The easiest way, have abortion like legal, or have things like that legal, so that if there's people who like have different opinions than you, right, they can get them, and then the people who don't want them or don't agree with them just don't get them. Yes. At the end, because again, the government shouldn't say what you can and can't do. Yes. So like, if let's say a woman's like, oh, like, this baby, I will die on the table in the bed, like, if I have this child. Yeah. The woman's like, I'm at such a young age, like, I just want, you know, I want to live. Like, do you want her to die? Like, you know what I mean? No. Like, it's a matter of like, have that legal. The people who need them, the people who don't. You can still have that moral code. Yes. You can still be like, if I was pregnant, like, oh, I wouldn't have an abortion. Don't have it. But for the people who are literally in dire situations where they need it, they have the ability to. It's very split. It's very split. It depends on like what you're, I guess, if you're okay. If you want the baby to live, I guess you can dip, but like the baby has to. But that's a personal choice. That is a personal choice, but having it legal gives people the option. The choice, yeah. Right? Giving people the personal choice, but then if you don't have that legal, that limits like everything. Because then it's like, oh, okay, so then what do I do? Then more people die because they're having
and you don't have that
illegal
choice,
abortions. You know what I mean? But again, like, that's what I mean. It's just like government, like with Trump, he's very much like, no. Yes. Right? He's very much like, no. Then all the stuff and she's just like, no. And I'm like, okay, then you're just going to see, you know, women dying. And people who can get pregnant, not just women, just people who can get pregnant. Trans men, non-binary individuals, just people who can get pregnant and have, you know, children. You're just going to see them die. There are a lot of those. Yeah, the government does like to strict kind of a lot of your choices, especially with those. But at the same time, I've seen it, like, because a lot of members of LGBTQ community also kind of maybe push kind of their agendas. Please correct me if I'm wrong. No, I know. You know what I mean, because I've seen it. Yeah. So like, again, like, both sides can be both sides. There's no way in hell I'm ever going to be like, oh, but like all people who are progressive are like good people. No. Yeah. You have your bad apples everywhere. The same way that like, you know, say like people, the LGBTQ are just people who are progressive, maybe like, oh, like, I'm going to throw it down her throat. Like, you need to be this, and this. No. Because at the end of the day, people have a choice, but like, it's our job as people to choose for ourselves, but like also choose who we want to be around. But the same thing goes for like people who are like Christian or like hella religious, like shoving their beliefs down your throat. It goes both ways. Yeah. There's bad people on both sides. It's just, you need to make sure, you just need to know what you agree with. Yes. Right? But like, again, are you like humanitarian or do you want to like restrict people? Choices give freedom, and that's what people want. At least freedom. Enough freedom anyway. The freedom to choose. Yes. People say like, oh, God gave us free will, and then you have the government like taking away their ability to have it. Yes. So it's like, it really just depends. But they also at the same time say, but they shove their stuff down our throats, but you're doing it as well. Yeah, well, those people are... It's unnecessary. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there's like good pushback. Like, I think there's definitely like social justice issues that need to be talked about that need that pushback. That need to be shoved down people's throat, but but like at the end of the day, like if we're fighting for people's equality, like I feel like that should be pushed. But like what I don't agree with is like there's just some people who are like progressive that are just like radical.
Yeah.
Just like those radical, like, you know, people on the right. It's
Yeah.
just it's the way the cookie crumbles.
It's a bit of a cookie crumbles, absolutely, absolutely. But also, too much freedom can also not be good, eh? Because too much freedom led to those like the January thing, Trump riot thing, because they had too much freedom to do that thing. There wasn't enough, I guess, police to like stop that stuff. LA fires, I guess the mayor had, or whoever was, had too much freedom. They let it go. So, fire. Unfortunately, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, freedom's good, but too much freedom, I don't think that's good. Do you disagree?
I mean, yeah.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Like, there's laws for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want it to be, like, you don't want there to be no laws because then that's, like, anarchy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't want that.
Mhm.
I mean, like, having laws in place are good, but laws that only uplift the people of the population.
Not to keep them
having
down.
things like, oh, you'll get arrested for hate speech, like, that's a good thing. It's a law that restricts people, so if people are getting, like, hated on or people are being, like, you know, having hate speech put on them, they go to jail.
But,
laws are good.
Yeah.
We need laws.
Yeah.
Having too much freedom is bad depending on the freedom.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And but also hate speech can also be spun. No. Depends on, so if one person hears this thing about hate speech, but the person has a quarrel with that person, they can change, because, for example, look at a great example. Hi, Jordan. I'm using your name as an example because you're great. This is Jordan, I mentioned him last time. Say I hate Jordan, and he says something of his opinion, but I hate him. And you ask me, oh, what did Jordan say? I hate him, so I kind of change what he said to manipulate, because that's kind of what happened to me as well.
Actually, like, that's a thing in psychology, like, people do that to make themselves not feel, like, it's like a way of, like, rationalizing to make it feel like you're not the one in the wrong situation.
Yeah.
But, like, at that point, it's just he said, she said. Like, if there's no, like, if we're looking in the eyes of the law and someone goes to court and they're like, oh, this person, like, hates speech me, but there's no proof of it, they're gonna, like, dismiss the case because then it's just he said, she said.
But if a big group, I guess in this same case, if instead of it's not just me, it's a big group, a lot of people
like hating on Jordan?
Hating on Jordan, saying, yeah, he did say that, he did say all those things, he is a piece of shit. Obviously not, Jordan, we love you.
Yeah, I'm a piece of shit. He's just like over there laughing in the corner. But then, yeah, there's witnesses, but like I feel like witnesses would still need to bring evidence, no?
In some cases, witnesses might be all
Jordan?
we need. Jordan, do you want to comment?
Truth always comes out, man.
Truth always comes out?
Truth always comes out? Yeah. But again, it's like he said, she said in that situation, right?
True. I mean,
My
in a
lawyer's
perfect
better than theirs.
in a perfect world, yes. Well,
yeah.
We don't have enough time for me to say that story about my experience of that, but, well, we talked well. Hope you yeeted well in this. She yeets very well, as you can see. She did very well in this yeet episode, and we appreciate her yeetness. Yeetness very well. Yes. Well then, yes, we are yeeted. I believe we have talked a lot of many things, very good things, very progressive things, positive things. I hope you enjoyed your time here on YEET Talks. Hopefully we will see you in another time.
Yeah, it would have to be within a month.
Within a month? That's okay. You will enjoy your time in Korea.
Yeah.
I hope I can get my co-host on here another time, because it really pissed me off this time. Anyway, we're good. We're yeeted. That was episode 3 of YEET Talks. Hope you've enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one. And I kind of started this thing last time. It's kind of a little tradition. We're going to end this off with a yeet. Both of us saying if that's okay. Yeet.
Oh, like this?
Yeet. It's exactly like this. Yeet. Obviously, there's a big yeet, but obviously you don't have the space for that. So we have a small yeet, okay? So 3, 2, 1, yeet. Okay, we're good. Done.